Stupid. But what it was what it was. Well, that looks suspicious. Beat him up, Finner. Beat him up, Ramu.
There's a bang
Eat. Village of Lost Summoners. Kupo, the Muggles! Oh, the Muggles! I can speak Mog. Okay, now you're just showing off. You're 6. Chill. Ooh, jealous of a 6-year-old. Wow. This game got interesting. Oh, that'll bring him out. Vivi's. Vivi really having an existential crisis here. Fear, Vivi. You're feeling fear. Libra. Alright, let's go this way. Tiger's feelings. Ruh-roh. Alright, we're gonna get my fan going. That's high. Alright, we got fans going. Feel it. Feels like home. We got a noodle here. Special case is the right way to put it. Oh, this is gonna be great. Rock fishing? That sounds unpleasant. I think this is probably a good way to put it. Things are probably not going to go well here. Disaster time. I think it's 10. Go talk to the Moogle. Bahamut, Ramu. See Phoenix. Wait. Get back in. Don't die. Still trying to make moves. Maybe. Wouldn't let me grab it. That's a little wild. Road. Do or do not. There's no try. Nope. Not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Earls. Oh, she doesn't look curious. Stops the one ability that wrecks me. These were just generic enemies, so I shouldn't have anything super good on them. But I am rolling with 2 white mages, so that's not great. Solution. Well, now you done pissed him off. I can't be responsible for what happens now. But I can guarantee you it's not gonna be good. Taking kill stills. Anybody's not as important. Cure is definitely high on my list. I bought the potion so I can run them out of combat. I had to be mindful of my MP though. I don't have a lot of ethers. Am I missing something? I'm missing something here. That's what it was. That bush there. So I'm missing a step. Okay, I thought we got them all. Did we not go a path? We missed the blue stuff. Kill the fire. Kill it with fire. Detonate it.
It's dead anyway. Those might be important later. Huh. How do we get to the infantry now? Yep. This way? Yeah, this way. Yeah. There we go. Vivi, but whatever. Did you have a nice flight? Nothing but a tree. This doesn't seem foreboding. That's Carbuncle. Love me some Carbuncle. Hey, thanks, Oxgold. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that it's been enjoyable. It's been fun. I'm enjoying it. Nine's been a little bit more of an adventure this time, more than because I have been underleveled. I learned that they did mess with the encounter work. Like, I should have probably had at least 2 encounters by now. There's one. I feel really underleveled. Angry mushrooms. It's new. Oh, our normal rule, kill them with fire. And lightning and wind. Yeah, 9's been a thing. I've enjoyed it. I'm glad. How far? What game are you on right now? Just trying to solve the two. One was interesting. The nice thing about one is I have the EverDrive for my NES, and the randomizer community made that balance patch, or not the balance patch, but it's the randomizer vanilla. Yeah, 8 was good. 8 was fun. Oh yeah, we learned a cure. Sweet. I can move some stuff around. Get her off that and get her into Magician's Cloak. That is running way slow. That's the best thing for her. 2 was interesting. 2 and 3 did some things to me. That's great to hear. We're getting ready to have a summer tournament. We're looking at putting together another tournament for that. We've also got the Speed Gaming Lives tournaments coming up. So if we'll have a lot more of that as well. Looking forward to that. I don't play it as much as I used to, just because I got tired of it. But glad to hear you're liking that. Yeah, I've got some recommendations if you want to watch some Zelda 1 and Zelda 3. Adirondack Rick, Crimson Avix, The Greenleaf Effect, F. Coughlin. All names that I'd go recommend that you find and you follow. I'll put their accounts in here as well. But I recommend. Fred is the creator of the Zelda 1 randomizer. Adirondack Rick is big with running the speed gaming back end as far as scheduling. Crim's one of the Z1 our admins, and Tej is, well, special. and Crimson Avix is actually doing sort of the same thing I'm doing. He's doing 35 games though. He's doing a lot more of the side quests and sequels and stuff. I'm doing all the mainline games. Fetched again. It glows. I'll be fine. So I'll take a moment here. It's here. Giving you some people to go find and follow. Make sure I spell Fred's name right. Yeah, so there's 4 of them, 4 that I highly recommend. Adirondack Rick, he does a lot of the back end stuff. He does commentary with us, but he does he plays a lot of Z1, Z3. He's a good guy. The Greenleaf Effect is special. He's just special. Love him, but he's special. Crimson Avix, like I was saying, is doing the 35 Final Fantasy games for the 35th anniversary. Yeah, Fred also created the Super Mario Bros. 3 randomizer. So, guy's a genius. Absolutely insane. Great watch. Well, if you want to learn the Z1R randomizer, if you haven't, I don't think I have the Discord up anymore. Let me grab that link. Helpful hints and scanners. Where's the... Is there not a link anymore to the server? Alright, that should be the link to the Zelda 1 randomizer Discord, which will get you in where all the community is, all of the runners, the tournaments. We have weekly events. There's a beginner's lounge. You can learn how to play. Lots of people in there who, one, are fantastic. It's one of the best communities I've ever been a part of in anything I've done. No one's out there to be the... we're all out there to be the best, but we all want everyone to grow. So you've got people like Redbird Grad, Saver, 8gen, who's been in the chat here off and on throughout the streams. All of them amazing Zelda 1 randomizer players. A lot of them have... I don't think I want to go this way yet. A lot of them have sub-30s in the vanilla game, or like close to sub-30. A lot of them... Saver plays games blindfolded. Guy's a freak. Love him. That's been his big project. He's been doing less Z1R lately. Let's see who else. Like, there's just... It's a fantastic community. And we love seeing new people come in and grow. And fall in love with the game again. Cute. Yeah, we ain't doing that. No, anytime. Like, it's great that a game that's 30 years old, more than 30 years old at this point, has the popularity that it does and has the amount of players. Like, oh, y'all look fun. And then, obviously, if you haven't gone to twitch.com/speedgaming, there's Speed Gaming 1 through 6, I think. And for the most part, they don't do new games. It's speedruns of old games, and it's fantastic to watch the talent of not just the randomizer, but seeing some of these people play some of these games that you're just like, how? Some of the tricks and stuff are just amazing. Like, I love it. RPG Limit Break is another one that I highly recommend if you're looking for something to watch and or do. Nice. Yeah, RPG Limit Break is, for the most part, they Kira Live. They're RPGs. They do something called RPG Limit Break, just like so. You've got Games Done Quick, which does their marathon. They do 2 a year, one for cancer and one for it's Doctors Without Border, and I can't remember. I think the other one's cancer. Then you've got Speed Gaming, which does Speed Gaming Live, which will be coming up here in a couple months. And then RPG Limit Break does one usually in May, where it's 7 days of RPGs. And it's fantastic. Like, if you love good RPGs, good old RPGs, it's 7 of the best days you can have. And then all of them do other side marathons and stuff like that. I've got some Breath of Fire runs from way back. Something about Tej doing voice commentary for Questing for Glory a few years ago. That was a thing. Yeah. No, I mean, RPGs are fantastic. I don't like speedrunning as much, but I love playing them. How to fight a boss that we can one-shot. Love this. Love this mechanic. Mog's not coming out. Poo-poo. Yeah, so one of our good friends, his logo's right above me, and his give me a second, I need to kill these things, at least make them stop hitting me. Okay, so OPT Lawyer, good friend of ours, he had colon cancer. And passed away tragically in November of last year. One of his big causes was mental health awareness. NAMI being that organization that he championed and supported. So, while we miss him dearly, we carry his legacy on with pushing and continuing that talk about mental health. You know, trying to make sure anyone who needs help can get it. And remove the stigma from mental health that people have always had. You know, men don't talk mental health, you know, postpartum depression, mental health after stuff like what happened in Uvalde, which was just down the road from me. You know, mental health about, you know, with COVID, people losing their jobs, people losing their livelihood. So talking about those things and being more vocal about it, having people openly discuss their mental health in a way that encourages others to seek out the help that they need. So that's kind of the story there. There's a lot there's a lot to say along that. actually, if you want to, let's see here. I don't know if they have a playlist or not. Where is it? Cam accidentally blacked the channel. Oh, there it is. So, if you want to hear more about Tim's story, that is from his church. They did a 4-part series about OPT lawyer and his life. And his days. It's done by one of his close friends who grew up knowing him. And it's absolutely Chameleon Ice, who's one of our Bay City guys, good friends with OPT as well, makes quite a few appearances. It's really we watched all 4 on stream, so I think they're all available too, or at least we watched some of them on stream. Chammy and I watched them together, and extremely moving pieces. They did a fantastic job with it, and telling his story and continuing his legacy as well. Here again. Okay. This is going poorly. Whew. That was closer than I would have liked to have been. Oh, feel free. It's always weird to sit and play a game in complete silence, so I don't mind. But it is a good part of the game. Definitely is. Creepy. No, I've played 9. This is my second playthrough of 9. To be fair, this is the least boss I need to be focused on. Yeah, 9 and 10 and 4 were the ones that I played before. Before I started this quest. But the game that I'm playing that caused all this is actually this one. It's Final Fantasy Record Keeper. Let me see if I can get it good. So this is the game. It has all the Final Fantasy games in it. Doesn't show up great on the camera, but it has all the games in it. It tells all their stories in some ways. It's one of the gacha games, so money is kind of a thing in it. But I play free to play, and it's not bad. Like, I've enjoyed it. Final Fantasy Record Keeper. Answer this text real quick. Okay. Back to this fool. Dagger leveled up. That's funny. Who am I on? Okay, skill, attack. Alright, what do you got? Stole the Brigadier already. Magician Cloak. Kind of want that. Oak Staff I don't need. Okay. You know what? No. Me saying I don't need to focus on the boss and then don't focus on the boss. That was funny. I deserved everything that happened there. Alright, there goes the mist. We've demystified the continent. Yeah, so 9 and 10 are kind of this refresher for me of I've played them. I don't remember them fully, but I remember most of them. Well, that's pretty. And I'm kind of getting the refreshing just play through and have fun. Not trying to figure story out. I know the story. Not really so far. Vivi's Plight's a little bit more interesting to me than it was 6 years ago when I played it. But so far, it's been... I don't know. It really hasn't... I identify with Vivi more after the last 3 years than I did 6 years ago. I think that's the big change. Shame Yako didn't get any points off that. Let's see, where is the... There's the pass. Controls are out. Definitely after going through losing my job now twice. Because if you weren't here last time, the company I work for sent me a box to send my laptop back in and said I'm done. And they ended my contract. So, very much, and then the same thing happened right at the start of COVID. They shut everything down, and I was like, what? So, yeah. I do business analyst work, robotic process automation. But now I'm a full-time official. I do baseball, basketball, and football. Full-time. In fact, I'll be calling what appears to be 4 days full of baseball this weekend. Honestly, if I could make streaming and baseball officiating work, I absolutely would never go back into regular office work again. But it's a commitment. That it definitely is a commitment to get to that level. Oh, I love it. I love baseball, basketball, and football officiating. It's a lot of work, and people don't understand quite how much work it is. We're just gonna auto this. I mean, when we talk books, like, this is my 3 football manuals right here that I have to know. The NCAA rulebook, and then the Texas 4-man and 7-man. For baseball, I've got 3 Federation rule books, and then a manual. Yeah, so for baseball we got 3 books, and then a mechanics manual for 2-man. And then basketball we got 3 books for Federation rules. Yeah. That doesn't count the Little League rule book and the Youth League rule books, which I have for all those sports as well. Because they all have various different... I don't have those printed out. Those are my high school manuals. Yeah. It's a lot. And so when coaches are yelling at you about a thing, you know, this is the NCAA rulebook. This is actually if you watch college football on Saturdays, this is the rules they play. Texas is the only state that plays NCAA football. all the other schools play, or all the other states play National Federation rules. But, you know, you're looking at this, and they expect us to know, and we should. Let's see, this book is the 2021 season. Let's see, how many pages is this? Where's my little contents? Let's see. 200 pages, 250 pages, and that's just the rules. That doesn't include the mechanics manuals and what each official's responsibilities are for 4-man, which is JV and below, and then 7-man, which is for varsity. So the coaches expect a lot from us, but at the same time they don't quite understand, and most people who watch the sports don't understand how much really goes in. Like it's one thing to say for baseball, because really for baseball, the mechanics book you don't need. So this is baseball, the 3 rule books. But in the rule book, it says if the rule isn't in this rule book, go back to the official rules of baseball, which is a whole nother rule book. That's the MLB book. So if you can't figure out what to do, then you go back to the official rules of baseball. And then, all else fails, there is a rule that says, if there's no rule covering this, the umpire makes the decision. But yeah. Like, what was it? Well, I guess yesterday was Friday. NHL. We have the Texas, the Texas Stars and the Cedar, or I guess what are they? The Texas Stars and the Dallas Stars feeder team down here. Yeah, I haven't even looked at I haven't looked at the volleyball, the hockey, or the lacrosse rules. I can't skate, so that's not happening. Yeah, that's been the one thing that is where my opinion's changed since I've started doing something. I look at it from the official's perspective now. I don't necessarily... It depends. If you're doing, if you're doing non-varsity, non-playoffs, it's usually pretty relaxed. The youth league parents and coaches are insane, but... Oh, you stole this from my baby. I know your baby didn't swing at 5 pitches. And probably 5 of them were strikes, and I let him get 2 of them for free. But yeah. I've stopped doing most youth league stuff. Oh, goodness. I haven't had one of those in a while. It gets stressful end of season for sure. Playoffs, we just had the state playoffs, and one of the teams that I've done for most of the season actually won the state championship this year. So, that team's a little bit more intense when you deal with them because they're good. Okay, I want to open the chests in here. now all of a sudden I'm having an allergy attack. So it's definitely, it started off as something where I did because the youth league needed extra umpires and I enjoyed it, and then it became something where I really enjoy it. Explodia. Huh. Already have one. All right. Let's go cause trouble, Mog. Koopa? Bum Rusher. Sleeping Weed, round 2. I'm not plotting anything. Well, what if I don't value Brett's life? Can we just get that over with and then I'll take you out too? No? Okay. Get off of auto. See if he's got anything worth stealing. Poison knuckles. Best you got? Got him. Oh, this is bad. Hey, Jen. It's been a night. I was out for 30 minutes today in the sun and pretty much got sent to the nap time. Oh, this is bad. What happened? That was so awful. The heat index was like 110. And we did a 30-minute baseball lesson at like noon. But when I got up this morning, it was like 90 before I walked out of the house. Just continue from the spot. Yeah, that's just not. That's not fun. Alright, let's push through all this again because... Woo! Yeah. It's kind of disappointing, but yeah, it's a better white mage. I think I'm just gonna kill him. I'm not gonna steal the weaponry. Alright, let's do battle this time, not steal. I did waste a turn learning what he had, so honestly I could just steal if I get the poison claws and I can go to town on him. Zidane, you're really awful at your job. Zidane might be the worst thief I've ever dealt with. And I dealt with Locke. Elixirs. I've not gotten one counterattack either this fight, which is amazing. Oh, so if I complain about it, you'll give me a counterattack. I see. Yeah, I'm gonna need some counterattacks if we're gonna do this. That was a good set of turns. Just want to throw a high potion here and just be safe. I really should take my rules test tonight and get it over with, but I don't wanna. I'll do it tomorrow. I did have an elixir. Hey, Agent, I figured out why I feel so low leveled. I think Dark Shadows came in and told me that they reduced the encounter rate in the PC version, in the PC remake. So of course I felt low leveled. I was. Yeah. Because I went through, I think it was, what was it? I get it at the same time that should be an option. Because I don't remember where it was, if it was Fossil Roo or... No, it was Claria. It was Claria. I was going up to Claria, and I had one fight the entire walk all the way up to the top of the town. Yeah. And I was startled when that fight happened, too, because I was like, there's an encounter here? Because I hadn't had one the entire time. And so once that happened, I was like, oh. And then Dark Shadow said that, and I go, oh, okay, well, that now makes sense. I remember the climb down the infantry. I had like 15 fights when I played it on the PSX, and I think I had 3 total. Yeah, so I definitely feel low level, and I definitely feel the equipment process not quite going as effectively and fast. So they should have balanced it. I think that's the piece. Is if you're gonna turn the encounter rate down, you need to up the XP and make it so that you're hitting levels where you should be. A good example of that is actually the Breath of Fire series. If you look at Breath of Fire 1, the speed run takes one single encounter, and the rest of it we avoid. So they set a baseline of every boss will give you enough experience to kill the next boss. Now, I don't know if they did that intentionally or if they knew that's what they were doing. But with the right strategies, you can absolutely get through the whole game fighting one encounter. Yeah, and so when you play the game vanilla, the encounter rate's there, and you take all the regular encounters, you're going to be at a higher level than you need to be to fight the bosses. So for someone who's just playing the game, it's not that bad. The game's pretty... Yeah. Which took us, what, 25 years to figure out that the 10th enemy had the bomb? Still can't believe that... I still can't believe we're finding new tech in that game. Like, it is stunning, the new stuff that we've discovered, like the manip routes and everything. That's all been done. Yo, on the 35th anniversary, the manip route's, what, a year old? A year and a half old? And I think JSR's looking at pushing it even better. Like, he's got a different manip route that he's working on. And I'm just like... How are we doing this on a game that's, you know, it's not even, yeah, sub 30 is free practically. Like, I say that as someone who will never get a sub 30, but like sub 30 means nothing anymore. Which is crazy because what, 5 years ago, that's sub 30 was the goal. And now we're talking sub 26? Like, we've taken 4 minutes off the game in the last 3 years, which is just insane. But I love that. I love that the communities like that are still alive. It's what kills me about the Breath of Fire community. There is no community. There's like 4 of us who run the game, and none of us run it that much. Granted, 2 sucks to run. 2, 3, and 4 suck to run. They're truly painful games to run. 1's all right. Well, it's like we're getting to the point where, like, I want to see a new updated task run. Like, I don't know. I think the task run may not be as fast as we can get it. Because we know more about the game than we did 4 years ago. If the task is doing money manip to buy the stuff, then absolutely I could see it going even faster. And or spawn manipulation. There's something there. But yeah, no, it's crazy to think that we're still discovering stuff in there. I mean, and talking about another game, as much as I hate the Z3R community, the amount of stupid mechanics they've discovered about that game in the last 3 years is just mind-boggling. Like, I've seen videos of people shooting an arrow, shooting the hook shot, shooting the fire rod. The next thing you know, they jump 3 screens, and you're like, what happened here? Yeah. No, as much as that community is just hot garbage, it's amazing the stuff that they've come up with. Like Icebreaker, and that's the thing that makes me, which makes me just laugh. Like, some of the stuff I get, like the screen scroll, you could accidentally screen scroll, you could accidentally block clip. I could see that. But when it's, you gotta hold the X, Y, A, Z, up, hold your tongue to the left, flip the controller upside down, and sneeze twice to get the trick to work. Who the hell comes up with that? I still can't wait for us to discover a way to, yeah. I mean, some of it you can figure out with the save states and stuff like that, and the code. People like Fred, who, I mean, look at what Fred did to Final Fantasy 1. He rewrote the game's code in C so that it could execute and figure out the best way to manipulate the game. I mean, it's insane. It's insane what people are doing to these games. Fred is something, but I mean, the technology's there that wasn't there 10 years ago. The ability to recreate, like, yeah, I'm still floored that he was able to recreate the tech, and the visibility's more there. You know, you've got hundreds of people playing Zelda 1 every day, and so at some point we are going to figure out bait skip. I don't know how, but someone's going to do something funky and it's going to happen, and we're all going to go, oh, well, there's 5 minutes out of, you know, now sub 20 is a joke. I mean, what? FF7 no slots, they discovered Cosmo Canyon skip last year, I think it was. So sub 630 is happening in that game. Like, it's like the amount of stuff we're discovering in these old games is fantastic. I still love the speedrun for this. It's 9.5 hours of will the final 3 bosses play nice? It's like you play 8, it's like 8 and some change, and you get up to Death Gaze, and Death Gaze goes, yeah, we're not speedrunning today. Yeah, Cosmo Canyon skip was like an hour off the world record for 7, I think, which is just Like, that's a stupid amount of time save. Yeah, they found a way to skip Cosmic Canyon entirely. The boss, all of this, like, just completely bypass it. And it's on the no slots route. So no slots is down to 6... Like, they're looking 630 right now. Oh, Breath of the Wild is just... We joke about Zelda 1 and Zelda 3 being held together with duct tape and chewing gum. Like... The modern games are just as bad, if not worse, in some ways. Yeah, well, Saver's a freak. I love him, but he's a freak. The amount of stuff he's done blindfolded just makes my head hurt. I know at one point he was looking at doing Stardew Valley blindfolded, doing the speedruns for that, and I was just like, that's just not even right. And you have people like Scytown playing Z1R at a level which, good grief. What he did to J-Smash was wrong on many levels. That was not even... It wasn't even a fair fight. I mean, that was just... Yeah, it was something. I think I laid down in bed early that night because I wasn't feeling good, and Krim texted me like 45 minutes after the match, or after the match had started. Yeah, we don't have to talk about races anymore. I go, what? Like, just stunned that that had happened. Sometimes it happens though. I think I beat a seed in the was the 2019. I think it's the Pinafores tournament where I had Bogey and I beat him by like 20 minutes. It wasn't even close. And I right ordered the seed just perfectly. Oh, I mean, I had to race Saver. I had to go head-to-head against Saver in 2018 after playing Random Effect. That was my first two matches. That was my first two matches in a tournament ever. I drew Random Effect and Saver in round 1 and 2. I might as well have just not shown up to the race room. It'd have been better. The number of people who've beaten Saver we can count on like one hand. Yeah, that was my... Oh, no, that was the tournament where I went Random Effect, Saver. We had the 3-hour seed with the Alan Heffley and myself. That was my first 3 tournament races. Yeah, my introduction to tournaments was brutal. And then I got Raikou Rider and beat him. And then I got Truant Gamer, and I'm like, okay, I quit. Oh, and my second tournament was the, I think it was the Pinafores. I drew Bogey, who I got past, and I got Redbird in the second round, and I'm like, whatever. Just whatever. Like, and I would have gotten Alsoa in the third round. Sorry, Dagger. He just is better. Yeah. So the reasons I'm retired are very obvious. When your first 2 tournaments are that, you're kind of like, good. All right. That. Mithril. Almost got thinner. Oh, let's skip him abilities. That's back attacks. Turn magic. Oh, that's interesting. You know, probably should have read what I was doing. I don't know. Oh, I guess we're going back to the infantry. But yeah, no, that's... Yeah, The Wheel of Doom does not like me, so I keep my distance. Oh, Tampa Bay knocked off the Rangers 2-1. Texas won today, so they remain alive in the College World Series. And there's rumors we're getting back to Bay City Chronicles tomorrow, but I don't know. Or Sunday. I'm glad. And like I said, yeah, I'll probably be less hands-on this time around, but I will definitely be around. Right now, my priority is obviously getting a new job and/or becoming a full-time sports official, because Twitch ain't paying the bills. As much as I love hanging out with all y'all, yeah, right now we gotta pay bills, and that's currently a problem. I don't even know why I'm just go for it. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to have to deal with some of this stupid stuff, but well, see, Agent, it's my stream, so I can say this. You have another problem besides food being expensive. They are. They are. But no, yeah, no, it's not gotten any easier. But I did just get offered Thursday through Sunday what is a stupid amount of baseball games to call, so I mean, I've obviously got to take that. I'll probably end up making half of what I was making in those 4 days. I'll probably make half of what I was making in 2 weeks, so pays good if your body can handle it. But down here in the Texas heat, whew, some days not happening. I think if I get 3 games a day, Thursday through Saturday, I'll make like 600. No, 800. It was 800 is what I was making. So I make almost 800 in 4 days, which... yeah, we're pretty badass. Nope. There's the Silver Dragon. Oh, my fan's turned on. They must have a timer on them. Well, it's more than the hydration, too. I did 14 basketball games last weekend, and it took me till Wednesday to where my legs actually... I was struggling to walk. They were so sore. Alright. Let's go get us a Kuja. If I remember correctly, we're pretty close to the end of disc 2, or we should be. I want to say the infantry is the end of disc 2, but I can't remember. It's been a while. Shut up, brat. Alright, you freak. Let's go. Okay. Okay, you're good. Oh, so you're fine. Yeah, it's fine. Bug killer, we don't need undead killer. We're not gonna need alert. Let's go return magic. Yeah. Fermented souls. Alright, Kuja, you're wearing me out. What'd you summon for me to kill this time? Oh. Oh. Sin spawns. We're a game early. Ow. That was kind of rude. You got anything worth stealing? High potion. 4. Alright. The answer's no. I don't agree. My money's like, or I don't disagree. My money's like Kuji here. He's got a valid point. More sin spawns. Clearly this is where they got the idea for them. I really should have had a heal. Whatever. They don't have a ton of HP. Nope, nope, there's a Moogle here. I see him hiding. I see the hiding Moogle. So yeah, if I remember correctly, this ends Disc 2, and this is where we're going to stop tonight. It's the end of Disc 2. Because I have to get up at some stupid hour in the morning to go pick my daughter up. Let's go see her daughter. Yeah, look, more sin spawns. There's two of them. Okay. Oh, Vivi's about to trance. Y'all asked for it. You made Vivi mad. I can't be responsible for what happens when you make the Black Mage mad. No, that's alright. You made the Black Mage mad. Now you're gonna pay. piss off the Black Mage. It's that simple. Stone's Master's Defender. I could have sworn there was. Oh. Hi there. Oh, hi there. You look like Leviathan. Or Bahamut. Oh, it's Leviathan. Boat's on fire. Blood? You made me bleed my own blood! Kuja has a plan. she survives that. Ish. That happened. Mystery escape pod. I call BS on the escape pod. That's one hell of an escape pod. It's an escape pod. It's just like one person. No, you brought everybody back on an escape pod. How? It's one hell of an escape pod. It's not an escape pod. That's a boat. Can we acknowledge the fact that that escape pod carried 6 people and a Mog. Also, Ken was somewhere around there. No. No, I'm not allowing the magic excuse. This is really disc 3 starting, if I remember correctly. Let's see if I can save. It's so big. That's what she said. That's, yeah, I guess it is what she said. Unbearably hungry. That's evil. I guess I gotta go find the save point. It's in the end, wherever that is again. Yeah, we're gonna save here. That's gonna do it for us tonight. I've gotta get up, like I said, really early in the morning. Well, we'll do these. Hey, look, a fish is scamming someone. Where's the Moogle? Where's the save point? I want to save. Alright, we'll do this one. Oh, I know where the Moogle is. Duh. There's the Moogles. Alright, now that we've got a safe spot, that is going to do it for us tonight. We're going to go over to Rick, who's playing SMZ3R, whatever, with Black Attack and everybody. So y'all enjoy that shenanigans. We'll be back tomorrow with more FF9, possibly Bay City tomorrow night. I don't know yet. Still have to find out from Teej. But we'll see y'all later.